They they were born. What was the culture? What was the surroundings? What was the environment? So there are two views actually in India, and those who have written Indian history, they have two views. There is a group of historians who say that Buddhism and Jainism, they both were product of Vedic culture. They were product of Vedic culture, Vedic system. There is another group of historians, they say no, they were not product of Vedic culture, they were independent culture, independent system, independent. So these two views are there. Those who say that it was part of Vedic culture, they say Buddha was born in this region, Vedic system was there. He was exposed to Upanishadic teaching philosophy. He inherited a lot of Vedic masters, such as he is going to Alar Kalam, Uttara Kalam Gupta, his previous teacher, they belong to some. So that's one view, which has been predominating for most of the time. But some researchers, they are also trying to show that this region of Magadha, this was not very much influenced by Vedic system. So there is a book by Johannes Bromfast, relatively recent book. He says that this region of India, like Rajgir and Gurudwara, they had less Vedic influence and they had more indigenous sort of some traditions were there. So in that context, Buddhism and Jainism, they are developed. Anyway, just I wanted to introduce this, that there is alternative concept as well. We won't go into much detail of that. But some historians, they say that this area, generally, okay, let me tell you another way. Generally, it is said in Indian history that there are two types of tradition, religious tradition. One is Vedic, another is Brahmanic. So Brahmanic is Jain and Baudd. And Vedic is of course Hindu. And later on, they got mixed. And what we know present day Hinduism or so that's one idea. And this they say that this Brahmanic actually this is influenced by the Upanishadic teachings. So Vedic gave development to Sramanic, Sramanic gave development to Buddhism and Jainism, and later on what we know presently in Christianity. So this is a generally accepted theory, but historians they try to propound some new theories as well. So there is his research is like a good research. He tries to show no, this is not correct. This idea. He says that there was this region, what he calls Greater Magadha. So the region which was centered at Rajgir and like a bigger encompasses, and then it encompasses a further bigger region. So what he calls Greater Magadha. So he proclaims, Johannes Bromfast, he proclaims that Vedic and Jainism and Buddhism, they are not directly connected with the other, they are independent. That is this. And this got developed in this particular. Again, these are two contrasting, opposing theories. If you want to explore, this book is there. Right? If you want to explore this alternative, mostly in India, the first theory because is well documented, well. The thing. Most of these theories, they are politically driven, and we need to see why such theories are getting developed. And what happened in the past in 2005 is that nobody knows, neither I know nor this person. We all try to see certain facts, try to collect certain facts. Also, we neglect certain facts. You can't, history generally, when we write history, we collect lots of facts. They are like dots. And then you try to connect those dots and try to draw a picture. When we were kids, there were some, puzzles, lots of dots will be there, connect the dots, you'll get a photo. So you can't connect all the dots because you won't get a proper picture. So you have to be selective. You select certain dots. Then you get a coherent picture. Similarly, historians, they select certain dots, certain facts, and they neglect certain facts. And then they present a picture which is biased, which is subjective, which is what they have drawn, not necessarily objective. So that is why you find a contrasting theory, two opposing theories. It is like, there are multiple dots. Then these dots are like historical facts. Now if I have to write a dissertation, a thesis. So I will try to connect these facts and try to draw a picture, a photo, and try to tell a story. That's the purpose. So then I'll select some dots, and joining some dots, I can draw a picture of a Buddha. And joining dots, I can also draw a picture of a demon. Right? If there are so many dots, it's up to you how you are joining the dots. Similarly, historians, they also join the dots. And based on their choice, they draw a picture and they present a picture. Are you getting? I'm trying to show, this is called historiography, not history. Historiography means how history is written. History is one thing. History will tell you Gautama Buddha was born in this time period. He lived in this life, this family. Now, historiographer will go to the sources. For example, I told you that one of the Mahapadans in Pali does not tell that Buddha was born. He left his house because of those four incidents. And there is another Mahayana Sutra which tells you another story. Why Buddha left his residence? He left his home. You know why he left his home? According to Mahayana Sutra, learning system. That tells that there was a fight between two clans, two kings. Buddha's clan and another clan. There was a fight between Poliya and Shakya. So Buddha was a Shakya prince. He was a prince. At that time he was not, of course. So he was supposed to fight a war with the other clan. And the fight was on the river water. There was a river flowing and Buddha said no war. We should resolve these things by peace. And he did not participate in the war. And according to those rules, those times rule, Buddha, according to those times rules, if a prince does not participate in a war, which is his duty, he will be exiled. He has to leave his country. Are you getting? Yes. So he was exiled from his Kapilavastu. And that is why he came up in this Kashmir for a Bodhgaya and meditate. Now this is also Buddhist Sutra and Mahayana Sutra written at least 2000 years back. Now some historians pick up this story. Some historians pick up the story which is more popular, depending upon their choice. Now, which story is true? We don't know. Are you getting? Now, based on these cherry picking, history is written. Not just written, it is also interpreted differently. So, we never know what happened in ancient time. Okay, let me give you more concrete example. For example, India's independence. So, there are two types of historian. India became independent 75 years back in 1947. So, some historians say that this was a glorious moment. India was ruled by Britishers and many people for many hundred years, and people fought for it. Many people sacrificed their life, and India got independence after enslavement of that many years. It was a very glorious moment. Correct? Okay. Makes sense? Yes. Second narrative. Some historians say, what sort of independence did India get? It was not independence. It was just transfer of power. The same constitution, the same rules. It was in the white people, now it came to the brown people. Yes. The same, and what sort of independence? When India got independence, there was a partition between India and Pakistan, and thousands of innocent people died. Without, and India became more corrupt. At least Britishers, their rules were very strict. Corruption was less. India became more corrupt after it. What sort of independence did we get? Anyway, these two are two contrasting pictures. They are about same fact, and this is not 2000 years back, which we don't know. Like my father and my mother, they saw the independence. My grandfather participated in this war of independence. And both, so
system to say like I think both Pakistan and back then there was no Pakistan. So I think India was more nice in partition war than
separate. I'm discussing something different. Now what I'm saying that I told you two narratives of the same event, and both are contrasting. So both are opposite to each other, right? Both are in contrast. Which is true? But when you both can't meet, they are opposite. Anyway, this is now it's up to you or up to historian what points he chooses, what plot he chooses, and try to present the rest. So first story, as I said, two stories are there. Why he left, and those two stories are contrasting. Now Marxist historian they pick up this story, the war one. They say that look, Marxism tells you that everything is governed by money, power. So how could somebody leave? Everybody wants money. How could somebody leave the palace and money by seeing a dead person and a sick person and a sick person? There must be some other reason. So they pick this story that Buddha did not fight the war, and that is why he was forced to exile. And are you getting? So now, depending upon ideology, people pick up the story. And what was the reason? We can't know. Like nobody has seen. There were no video recordings of those days.
Are you saying that the Prince Gautama was sent into exile? This was no romantic story of trying to he just was told to get away, right? Is that what you're saying? Two versions.
Two versions.
One
and
romantic.
this is not my version, it is already 2000 years. You can check it out. This text is called Lillarik Viskar. English translation is available.
Very different version.
Translation. This is the Mahayana Sutra, which tells you this story. Why Buddha left this. And this is not a recent text, not somebody, this is Buddha himself is telling his biography. In this sutra, Buddha himself is telling his story, that what has happened. Like according to, so anyway, now We never know what happened. But we choose, the other story is more, it gives you inspiration. Seeing dead person, sick person. Well, this story does not give you that sort of inspiration. But this story is more suitable for Marxist view. So Marxist historians, they picked up this story. No, I'm not here to. I'm just trying to. What I mean to say that there are multiple versions of the same fact, and we need to be aware as a university student. We need to be aware of that there are alternative versions as well. We don't have to just go by this one. Otherwise, we will become dogmatic. And this is not, if you are in a monastic school, monastic university, maybe this is not needed. But if you are in a university system, you have to be critical thinking. You need to know other points of view as well. Now it's up to you. I leave up to you what you want to get. But this is anyway. So what was we are discussing? What was the situation in which Buddha was there? So there were this Magadha region in which Buddhism, Jainism developed, and this book, Greater Magadha, discusses about that. Okay. Now there is a sutta, Samaya Phala Sutta in Pali. Again, I have given the link to this. You can be sharing with you, so you can click on the link and get the access of it. Translated, and I think I discussed also when I was discussing the Charvaka school. So in Samaya Phala Sutta, this is a Buddhist text in Pali. It discusses about 6 Sramanic traditions. 6 scholars, they are related, they are contemporary to Buddha. And Ajat Satyarupa, king of this region, he visits these 6 masters of his time. And none of them are Vedic sages. This is another reason why Johannes Braunpost is saying that this region was less Vedic influenced. So, Puran Kasapa, Makkali Gosal, Ajikesh Kambali, Pakudhatyayan, Nigantanath, and Sanjay Virat. By the way, remember, also do remember that these texts, although they are believed to be the Buddhist Sutra, believed to be Buddha Vachana, but these texts are very biased. Biased means you don't trust these texts blindly. I teach another course on Nalanda, and there is a sutta which was taught by Buddha at Nalanda. And in that sutta, Mahavir is shown in very bad manner, very bad light. And any enlightened person, forget about an enlightened person, a common, genuine person would not, say that type of thing to another saint. And how Buddha would say that. But it is the sutta tells that Buddha said this. So remember what I mean to say here, that we should not trust the text blindly. That is why the critical thinking is needed. Sutras, although believed to be Buddha Vachana, but all the sutras start with Evam Maya Sutam, or thus I have heard. That means somebody has heard it. It's not tape recorded version of Buddha. Right? The sutra itself is saying, it's not I am saying that you don't have. The sutra, all the sutra, Buddhist sutra, be it Mahayana, be it Theravada, be it Pali, be it Sanskrit, those start with this line, Evam Maya Sutam, thus I have heard. You tell the hearings. So don't trust the sutra blindly. Try to have critical thinking about it. Anyway, this. So there are 6 teachers, contemporary teachers. They are mentioned here. Puran Kashyapa. So this also shows that during time period of Buddha, this region was more sort of renunciate oriented, because Sramanic, even this is Sramanic tradition. So these are more renunciation oriented traditions. Some peculiar features of these regions where Buddhism was predominant was the worship of yakshas and nagas and mother goddess. Now yakshas are not Indra or Varuna. These are somewhere in between. They are how to say? They are spirits. They are demigods. They are not even demigods. They are somewhere in between the gods and human beings. They are not good necessarily. You have to propitiate. Traditionally, it is believed that you have to propitiate them. You have to do some offering. If you don't do the offering, they will harm you. This type of belief system is everywhere in India, in Bhutan, in Burma, everywhere you will find some local deities, those who are there, and you have to propitiate them. Like Nagas, Yakshas, these. So mostly these, when Buddha was there, I mean, these types of traditions were very popular in these. And you find lots of these. All are from Buddhist basis. This one is from Mathura, another is from this Hargut. These all are 2000 years back sculptures, and also where you find these. Here is another Hargut. This is from Buddhist shrine, but it shows that look at this tree. There is a tree and there is a hat appearing which has a wasp and two people. So it shows some tree spirit. And this is 2000 years old sculpture from Hargut. And also some textual sources show you. Okay, so this is from Sutta Nipata, one of the Sutta Pitaka's text, very important and very prominent. And there is a dialogue between Suchi Lom Yaksha. Yaksha is a devil spirit. Suchi Lom Yaksha is speaking to Buddha. And he says, so this is what? This Yaksha, spirit, deity, sort of spirit. He's asking, I shall ask you question, ascetic. He's asking to Buddha. Here ascetic means Buddha. I shall ask you a question. If you do not answer me, I shall either strike down your head, mind, or split your heart, or seize you by feet and throw you over the Ganges. This is what he said to Buddha. That I am asking you a question. If you don't answer, I will break your head, or tear your chest, or catch your feet and throw it. Then Buddha replies to that, I do not see anyone, sir, in the world, including the Devas and Maharaj and Brahma, among being including ascetics and Brahmins and Devas, men who could strike down my mind, or split my heart, or seize my feet and throw me over the Ganges. Nevertheless, ask what you wish. So Buddha is very calm. Who is saying you can't do it, but okay, you ask me the question. I'm not scared that okay. So, and this is coming from very important text of the Nipata. What I am presenting here that in those time period, these types of cultures or traditions were very much alive there. Right now also they are there in some very remote corners. If you go to high Himalayan regions, you will find the tradition of oracle. So some position of spirit happens. Or in Burma you have a Nag.
Yes, yes.
Nag.
That we call that.
So everywhere in Myanmar, in Vietnam also you must be having some local spirit worship. Mostly in the remote villages, in cities. If you enter into the gate number 1 of Nalanda or university, you will see there is a white thing at near the gate. Have you observed? When you enter from the gate number 1, just after the road and before the gate, there is a small pedestal, white pedestal gate. Just even now you try to observe when you go out from the first number gate, you will see that. Anybody is seeing?
I don't know.
There is a small, pedestal, white ink made near the gate. Okay, I should take a photograph and
I see the guards.
anyway, that is actually a shrine for this village. There is a that used to be a shrine. There was a big banyan tree. When government made the road, so they cut the banyan tree. People, poor people, villagers, they can't do anything. Government is powerful, but at least government allowed to protect their shrine. So that shrine is still there. And whenever a marriage happens in this village or neighboring village, the bridegroom, the lady, will come with a sword and do some ritual there. They have to cut a small plant which gives the milk, and then some small ritual will be performed. So this is a contemporary. This is happening now, and this is a contemporary. This type of traditions which were there, and every village in India, like I know, my village also has a Gram Devta village name. Sthan Devta. Many deities are there. Mostly those who migrate to city, they lose this. For example, somebody migrates from this village, so this goddess or small shrine will become irrelevant. But those who still are in villages, they are still connected with these types of some spirit deities, which are part of they were part of Buddhism, Hinduism, or whatever religion. So when Buddhism went to, say, Tibet, Myanmar, they incorporated all these deities, became part of Buddhism. They were propitiated. Buddhism was not anti to these pagan traditions. This is another where Christianity, Islam, they were very anti-pagan. They persecuted. If you read the history of Christianity or Islam, they persecuted these types of local deities. While Buddhism, they did not persecute. They incorporated. The famous story of Guru Rinpoche is also that sort of. He is trying to subdue these types of evil spirits. Make it, yeah. And later on they are called Dhamma. So they subdue deities and they become Dhamma. So that sort of thing is there across the regions. Anyway, this type of tradition did exist. If you go to Nalanda Museum, you will come across this. So this was also found from a mound, and it is also more than 2,000 years old. This was used for snake worship. So milk will be put, and these holes are there in which snake would go and drink the milk. That's all. So this was found at Maniyar Mattikaki only. So this was snake worship. So Buddhist who probably where this was. So there are these spouts. So many such things, indigenous elements were there when in the surroundings or in the environment where Buddha was. Buddha, like priest or Buddha went, and he incorporated these elements also within the Buddhism. He never restricted, of course. He was not anti to the folk religious traditions. Gradually, for example, there is a goddess called Hariti, mostly chicken pox goddess. They were deified. So it said that Buddha subdued that disease, or subdued that goddess. Goddess means wrathful goddess, and made it a part of Buddhist pantheon. And it seems one of the scholars he reports that in Nalanda, when he visited, he came from China, and when he visited, he reports that first food, whenever the food was made, first food was offered to the that Hariti, that day, the goddess. In Nalanda, when the food was prepared for the month, the first some food will be kept, and that will be offered for that. the wooden foreheads. Again, here again, this same Chinese monkey thing, we traveled to Nalanda around this time period. When one is strict in practice, in Buddhist practice, and sincere in conduct, that is Vinaya principle. In accordance with the Vinaya teaching, one is followed and honored by the Nagas, spirits, devas, and men. So this shows that in ancient times these were the parts, when a monk or a nun is strict in practice, follows the Vinaya teaching, he will be honored by Nagas, devas, and men. With your meditative. So what I mean to say here, that these Nagas, spirits, and devas, they are not beyond, how to say, a monk or nun, they are not encouraged to worship them. But they are the part of the tradition. Common people worship them, and if somebody is following Buddha's practice, in fact, the person will be honored by spirits. So, for example, oracles, or if for example, Dalai Lama. So, he will be placed always above, or even other Rinpoches, the oracle will be placed lower. That means a person who is good at following the Buddha's teaching or Vinaya, he will be honored by the spirits. So that way, this is a synthesis. What I mean to say here, it's a synthesis between. They are not opposing each other, but it's a synthesis between the folk traditions and religious beliefs during Buddha's time.
They have a system for making of
And in all these,
so they always have different future and there are text research and people open food many to get rotation from you from while father.
so that's one thing where common people are worshipping spiritually, but if there is a monk, nun, they are not encouraged to do this. Are you getting what I am saying? They are monk, nun, or those who are on spiritual path, or those who want to become, those who want to get wealth or want to get child, worldly desires, they do this worship. But those who are on the higher path, they will be honored by these spirits. So that's the idea. It's not, it is encouraged within, but it is not discouraged also. They have become the part of the Buddhist tradition. Are you getting what I am trying to say? It's, for example, Dalai Lama also prohibited some deities to be practiced by the monks. There was a controversy on that. So, because these deities are worldly deities, they can help you for worldly things. And somebody has become monk or nun or renunciate, not for worldly things, not for money. Why would you become a true monk or true nun? So Buddha also did not discourage, but neither he encouraged also. In that sense. Anyway, so that was today's lecture.